Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Rachel and I'm a huge Eurovision fan as well as musician, and in today's video what I'm going to be doing is going through the results of Eurovision 2024 because it's been a week since we found out that Switzerland won, and then I'm going to compare that to my original predictions that I put through to see what I got right, what I got wrong, what I kind of got in between, and just discuss the results in general. What I'm not going to be doing is doing a kind of post-contest review, kind of in-depth looking at what happened, because I feel like I want to do that with a rational and calm mind, and I think that's going to take a couple of weeks at least to kind of get to that stage. So I will talk about the contest in general and what I think is needing improvement, what they got right this year, that kind of thing, and also do a separate kind of review of the jury results. But I just need to let the dust settle a bit longer because yeah, things are very heated, there's a lot of drama, and I just want to approach this with a calm mind. So please bear with me with that, but I will look at the results because we have the facts of the results and I can deal with facts right now. We're going to look at semi-final 1, semi-final 2 and the grand final. For the semi-finals, I'm going to score myself based on what I got correct and then things that were plus or minus 3 places out of the actual result. And then for the grand final, I'm going to do the exact same method, but it will be plus or minus 4 places out because we have more entries all in one place. So, without further ado, let's get straight into this. So we're going to start with semi-final 1, and as per usual, I'm going to show you my results, which means that according to last year's video, I'm going to have to get into my sphere of dork. So here is my dorky commentary circle. I'm going to be kind of floating around in this circle for the most part of this video, and I hope it kind of plays ball. No pun intended. So, with my scores for semi-final 1, I got 40% of my predictions bang on accurate. So that would be Croatia, Ukraine and Ireland coming in 1st, 2nd and 3rd, Portugal coming 8th, Moldova coming 13th and Iceland coming last in 15th place. So that's pretty good for me. I think last year I struggled to get a lot of results accurate, like bang on accurate, but I had quite a few of these yellow highlighted ones. So this is pretty good. So yeah, I think based on what I saw from the rehearsals, it kind of indicated to me that these countries are placed in these certain places. The ones I got really far off though was Luxembourg. They came 5th and I predicted 9th. So I did think they would qualify, but just not as safely as they did. But I think closing the show and the sort of light show they had, the interesting sort of on-screen graphics were a bit hit and miss. I personally didn't like the on-screen graphics, but maybe a lot of people did, and it sent this song through. I do also think if we had a jury, this would have gone through too. It was just jury friendly, well sung, and yeah, I think the production particularly on this song, I think it's a Stardust song, strong as well. And then Cyprus, I had them in 11th and they actually came 6th in the semi-final, so I did underestimate this one quite a bit. It was opening the show, but when I did see the performance, I thought it looked a lot stronger than I initially had thought it would. And the vocals were pretty good. They were shaky in places, but I think the song was sort of catchy and universal enough to appeal to lots of people, and they qualified. And then Serbia, who came 10th, I predicted them coming 6th. I do think though when I watched this live, it was 2nd in the running order and it kind of just slipped away a little bit and it didn't quite have that memorability factor, but it did appeal, I guess, to an audience that were looking for something a bit more subdued, slow, reflective, and that's exactly what this song served. So it's good that they went through, but it kind of was like a sneaking through. And then of course Australia was 11th, so they could have gone through instead of Serbia, so you know, it's good for Australia to get a score like that as well. And then Poland, I predicted them to come 7th and they actually finished 12th, so they didn't go through. I think I just, like many of the other commentators, expected them to qualify because of the diaspora vote. But then someone kindly pointed out to me in the comments that sometimes, you know, if the diaspora thinks a song or a vocal is weak, they won't vote for it, just despite it being Poland. So it's something to bear in mind. I think I just also had my hat on of thinking, okay, like Poland last year with Solo came 3rd, so they could easily also do quite well this year as well. But yeah, I just wasn't quite on the money with that one. So that's what I thought of the semi-final 1 prediction. So overall, 73.33%. accurate within 3 places. That's pretty good for me. I'm happy with that result. So now we're going to do the exact same method of looking at semi-final 2. So I'll get back into my circle. No, come on. That's better. Okay, so with this one, I scored 25% of my predictions correctly. I scored 50% within 3 places and then 25% over 3 places. So again, this I'm quite happy with. So the ones I got correct here was Armenia in 3rd place. I think this just had a lot of soul to it, and it did stand out so much against everything else. So I did think it would pick up quite a few televote points, but not enough to kind of win the semi-final. And then in 8th place, Georgia, I got this one correct as well. I thought it would be towards the bottom, but it wouldn't be scraping through because their light show and the sort of choreography did stand out. And I think amongst the 3 kind of girly bop songs of the semi-final, this one was the strongest. And then I predicted that Czechia would come 11th, and they did. Unfortunately, this one was a good performance. It's a good song. It was just a strong semi-final, and I think it just missed out. There's an argument to be made it could have performed in the final, but I think we need to kind of let the dust settle a little bit longer on everything that happened. And then I also scored Denmark in 12th, and they came in 12th, so that was also correct. So I'm happy with that. I think majority of these pretty accurate. The ones that were kind of off over 3 places, I had Israel. I was 9 places off with that one, but I didn't know what really to expect because I hadn't listened to the song. So I just sort of assumed it was going to qualify based on the betting odds. Latvia, I had them, this was the surprise. I had them in coming 15th and they came 7th. I think this shocked quite a few people. I didn't really see many people expecting Latvia to qualify. I remember in ESC Tom's predictions, he has these sort of categories he places the songs in, like likely to qualify, not likely, and he had Latvia sort of in one of the bottom tiers, and it was sort of on its own. So a lot of people didn't expect this one to qualify, and then when it did, it was such a surprise, but a really pleasant surprise, because it shows that the televote can still put through slower songs, more reflective songs like Serbia as well. So that was nice, and then he wasn't disgraced in the final, so I think that was great. And to see them break their qualification streak as well, that was really excellent. Norway I had in 5th place, and they actually came 10th, and you'll see that in the grand final as well. This disappointed me so much. I thought this would have a stronger televote appeal because it was so epic on stage. The light show, the kind of backdrop with the waves, the crashing waves, it looks so cool, and the vocal was on point, but then a lot of people didn't like the vocal and how it sounded, and that split opinion. And if you've got split opinion, I think it's harder to kind of do better in the televote. So at least they qualified. Belgium, I had them coming 9th and they came 13th. This was really sad for me because it was my winner of the contest. I just think the live performance was such a letdown. I really didn't enjoy it. I thought the vocals were pitchy. There was a disconnect. It had lost its kind of dark, sombre mood, that broody sort of attitude. It was all gone, and it felt a bit more performative and a bit more kind of dramatic in a sort of cheesy way. So when I watched this, I thought, this isn't qualifying, and it was a big shame because it is one of the best written songs of the year in my opinion. The instrumentation, the meaning, the delivery in the studio track is all top notch. It just didn't translate on the stage, which is a big shame. Another thing I was upset about though was Malta coming last, because I think to come last with a performance like that is not deserved. It wasn't my favourite song, and it's been done so many times, but the effort, the stage show, the choreography, there was so much effort in that, and I think it should have been rewarded more. I had them coming in 14th and they came last. You know, it's a shame. It's a massive shame. That's the second time it's happened to Malta now, but I think they just struggle to get votes in general from the public. I think Malta is kind of secluded in not having that many neighbours or cultural kind of similarities with other countries besides maybe Italy. So that kind of puts it in a unique position. And I think for the public to kind of pick the phone up for Malta and feel compelled to do so, they have to kind of deliver something spectacular, like with Destiny, like with Michaela. So with this one it wasn't hitting the mark. And yeah, I think going forwards, if they don't bring something to the table that's interesting and sort of worthy of qualification, I'm going to have to keep predicting them being towards the bottom or even last place, because there's no way, if San Marino beat them in the televote, it's a shame. But yeah, that's semi-final 2, guys. And now we've come to the grand final. In this case, I scored 16% correct, 52% plus or minus 4 out, and then 32% over 4, giving me a 68% within 4 places score, which is really good. I think I'm going to keep adopting my prediction method going forwards because I think it gives me pretty good results. And I might need to override some of them occasionally where it might, like for instance, in my original prediction method, I had the Netherlands coming like 13th place, and then I put them up to around 7th, even though they didn't perform, because I just had this sort of gut feeling that that's where it would finish. So I need to do a bit more overriding, but overall, it's quite good stuff. So get back in the circle. Right, so the ones that I got correct was France in 4th, Israel in 5th, Serbia in 17th, Spain in 22nd. So 4 of those I got correct. I think it's quite hard to get grand final positions correct underneath 1st and 2nd and 3rd place. I think those are usually the most easy to predict, and then everything else is kind of sort of a bit up in the air. So I'm happy that I got 4th place, 5th place, that kind of thing correct. And then the ones that I got kind of out within 4 places, Switzerland and Croatia, just switched around. Switzerland was a worthy winner this year, and I think the performance had appeal to both the public and the jury. I was pleasantly surprised to see that Croatia came 3rd in the jury vote, which shows maybe a slight improvement in the system, but I will need to dig into those results at some point. But yeah, I was 1 out with both of those, but I think it was difficult to call because they were both very strong, and they had appeal in both sides theoretically. So the fact that they both came in the top 2 is fantastic. And then Ireland I had coming in 3rd place. They actually came 6th, so that's pretty good still. I thought the televote would be higher for Bambi Thug, but still they got like 120 something points, which is really strong for Ireland, and I hope they keep pushing in the future. Italy and Armenia, I was 1 place out with these, so I had Italy coming in 6th, Armenia coming in 9th, and they actually came 7th and 8th, so still in the top 10, which is good. I think with Armenia, they really stood out in the running order. With Italy, I think they could have come higher, but I think the staging let it down slightly. I found Angelina Mango's performances in like San Remo and even the London Eurovision party was stronger than the grand final. Colour schemes and the sort of choreography, I think, took away from the sort of spontaneity of the song. So I was upset with the result, but you know, still top 10, pretty good. Portugal and Greece, I had predicted 11th and 12th, and they came 10th and 11th, so pretty much side by side, just shifted up 1 place. So I was happy with those results, kind of what I expected to happen. Lithuania I had predicted in 10th and they came 14th, so kind of a bit out. I wanted this to do better, but I think in the grand scheme of things it was a competitive year, and it still came top 10 in the televote, even with like 50 something points, which shows just how kind of skewed all the points were at the top. Latvia I had coming in 20th, they came 16th, so they defied my expectations and did a lot better. So that's really good for Dons and really good for Latvia in general. Then I had UK coming 16th and they actually came 18th. So still kind of what I expected. I think the 0 points was a shock, but I think it's starting to sink in now, kind of in hindsight, why that happened, but I'll cover that in a later video. Finland I had coming 18th and they came 19th. Estonia I had coming 19th and they came 20th, so similar with Greece and Portugal, just shifted down a slot there. And then Austria I had coming 21st and they came 24th, so 3 places out. This one, I think they got let down with the camera work. That was really, really shocking. The fact that most of the dance break didn't get transmitted to the audience, and that was kind of like the peak of the song. Really such a shame, but I also think the running order let it down because it was sandwiched between some really strong songs like France, and it was near Croatia and it was near Switzerland, so it got damaged there. And then the ones that I got quite far out was Ukraine. I had them coming 8th and they came 3rd. I wasn't expecting such massive televote score, but I think it was deserved. And the fact that it opened kind of second place and came third in the competition with a huge score defies expectations and is really great to see. I also had Sweden coming 14th and they came 9th, so they finished in the top 10 once again. They opened the show, they had a spectacular staging concept, it really looked professional, slick, and it got rewarded by the juries. And the televote wasn't so bad, to be honest, it was pretty good. Germany, this one was the biggest shock for me. Germany came 12th and I thought they were coming last. But you know what, when this came on, I thought I was enjoying it. I thought the voice was really great. I thought the staging looked good. And I kind of regretted putting it last. And I thought, okay, maybe 20th. But the juries really went hard for this one. And I do kind of see why, because the vocal was strong and the song was pretty good. It wasn't my cup of tea, but like 12th place, left-hand side of the scoreboard for Germany. They're out of the bottom 5 for the first time in years. Fantastic stuff. So I hope they can kind of continue on an upwards trajectory from now. Luxembourg 24th, I had them in, and then they came 13th, so 11 places out. Again with Luxembourg, I think I expected this one to have snuck in to the final, so they actually did a lot better than I thought in the semi, and they got a kind of decent jury score, over 100 points I think. Televote was slightly less, but that's kind of what we expected it to be. Cyprus, I had them coming 23rd and they came 15th. So with these 3 songs here, I expected them to kind of do a lot worse than they actually did. But you know, there's always kind of ones that you can't predict, red herrings in a way. And then we had Georgia and Slovenia slightly out with 8 places out. I thought Georgia would come 13th and they came 21st. I think it was just running order towards the end and it had kind of really strong entries surrounding it, so I do kind of see how that happened. And with Slovenia as well, similarly, kind of sandwiched between Switzerland and Croatia. I mean, goodness me, you kind of don't stand a chance then. So I thought they'd come 15th and they came 23rd, so still, you know, good that they got to the final again. I think they could push harder and maybe send something a bit more radio friendly or something kind of rock sounding that had a bit more punch than Joker Out, and we'll see how they do next year. I don't know. And by far one of the biggest disappointments of the night was Norway's score. I don't understand how they came last in pretty much both halves of the vote. I think it's disgraceful. I think this is one of the best songs of the year. I thought they'd be coming top 10. I had them in 7th. They came 25th. I still don't quite know. I'm going to research into it. Don't worry. I'm going to be looking at all the data and seeing how on earth this could have possibly happened. I don't get it. And it's not a reflection of the song coming last. Not a reflection of the song at all. And I think most people do agree with me. There'll be some people that don't like this and don't like the lead vocalist's voice. And I get that, it's polarizing, but the songwriting, the use of the instruments, that kind of story behind it all is so strong that surely that should not be coming last. I don't know. There you have it. That's a review of the predictions I gave last week versus the results that came out. So, you know, pretty good stuff overall for me. I'm going to keep at it for next year, hopefully. And yeah, let me know down below how you guys did with your predictions versus the results. What shocked you this year with the results? And stay tuned, because the next thing I'm going to be doing is doing my jury review, which will come soon. I need to get all the data together for that. Stay tuned. And I hope you guys have a good rest of the week, or 2 weeks, depending on timing. Yeah, so thank you for all your pleasant and kind comments over this Eurovision season. It's been a difficult season for fans and for content creators like myself and my colleagues. I think we've all been struggling in some respect of how to cover this year. It's been difficult. We've been put in positions that we've never had to kind of navigate before. But I just want to say thank you for those people that kind of respected how difficult it was, and sort of, even if they didn't agree with the approach, they still stuck around and gave constructive feedback, healthy comments, that kind of thing. It's what I really appreciate. All in all, you know, we got through this season, and welcome to the new subscribers. I hit over 20,000 subscribers this season. I think I'm around 22,000 now. The only way is up. This is really great stuff. So, you know, let's hope the next Eurovision season is a healthier one, a happier one for everybody. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.